was in your heart was wicked plans. But God overturned it. And the purpose was he wanted to send me ahead of you into Egypt, such that when there will be famine back home, you will find somebody to run to. And that is me. Joseph looks back at the bitter life he has led and realizes that God had a purpose behind it all. As we talk this afternoon, I still want to ask you to ponder, what is the agenda that God is pursuing in your life? Could it just be that you are alive for no purpose? Could it just be that, okay, you are in good health for no good reason? Talking about the divine agenda. My first submission to you, to be able to find out what the agenda of God or the divine agenda is in your life, you must remember to be a very observatory person. You must take time to observe the patterns of God's hand in your life. You know, we live a quick life in the West today, whereby the alarm goes off in the morning and you are like, wow, 15 minutes to work. Jump into the shower, quickly into whatever clothing your hands would find to work. In the evening, you're so tired, what you do is, you want to just fall down and sleep. The morning again, the alarm is off. And 6 days are over. You come to church. Does somebody here that experience in this world?
Yes.
Am I talking of practical things that affect us today?
Yes.
And if so, it is very easy to miss the patterns of what God is trying to achieve in your life. That's why I suggest, number one, take time, sit back, look and ask yourself, what is God trying to do in my life? I'll be taking a closer step addressing the same issue, but before then, let me mention the following, brothers and sisters. That even when wicked, bad things happen in your life, God has not lost control. He permits some of these wicked, bad things to happen to bring about a higher success in our life that we often don't know about. You realize God permitted whatever that was going to happen in the life of Joseph to happen. Finally, where do we find Joseph? Not only in Egypt as a slave, but further than that, he ends up as a prisoner. What agenda would God be having in taking a boy who was living a fancy life, loved by the father, brings him down to hatred with the brothers, brings him further as a slave into Egypt, and finally, as who? As a prisoner, you ask yourself. I want to submit to you, brothers and sisters, that when Jesus was praying to the church, he said the following words in John 17, I do not pray that you take them out of this troublesome world. What did Jesus pray? But that you may keep them from who? From the evil one. And I submit to you, brothers and sisters, that often God does not remove trouble from our way. Instead, he gives us strength to triumph upon those troublesome times. He often would not give you an easy ride in life. He would permit you to go through those bruises. But at the end of the day, you will come off and say, wow, I think I'm better off than what I was yesterday. If it were not for that sickness, I wouldn't have trusted God as I do today. Were it not for that accident, who knows, I could be a worldly person today. Were it not for the challenge of tuition, I wouldn't have known that God provides as much as he does. The challenges that come our way to strengthen our faith. Talking about the divine agenda. I know of the story of one girl from Uganda where I was serving about 3-4 years ago. I'm told of this story. This girl was about to graduate, and it so happened that she was writing her very last paper, research paper. She does. 2 professors were marking that paper. One of them passed. Okay, the last professor failed her. And the result is she couldn't graduate for that matter. And she was bitter about it like anybody else could. You only remain with one paper to graduate, and because of one professor, you fail, and you can't make it. She perseveres and remains in the college where she was, and it so happened that she got a job on campus where she was, and she was serving in a guest house, I'm told. So when she was serving, one day a guest comes, and she was a kind person. She attended this guest like she could any other person. At the end of the day, this old man looked at this young girl and saw a kind spirit behind this girl and said, "Hey, do you mind exchanging contact with me?" They did. Long story short, this old guy goes home and hooks up his son to this girl, and as we speak today, I'm told they ended up getting married. Now, when you look back at that life, you may ask yourself, what was the purpose of God?